Guess who's back, back, back?
Back again.
Savages are back.
Tell
a
your
friend.
friends.
That
Woo,
was
woo.
improvised, and I think it was pretty good.
We're back and better than ever. Kitties, I'm sorry that we disappeared for 5 months.
3 months.
months.
Just a little quarterly break.
Yeah, let it be known we did actually record an episode many months ago, intending to return a little bit sooner than now. But then what even happened?
Well, no, I think it was just like our regularly scheduled episode of like the next week. And that's when all your technical difficulties began to happen. We recorded the whole episode and we thought it was actually quite funny.
Yeah.
And not that we're trying, it just happens. And then that's when we discovered this whole like issue with your SD card and it doesn't load on the computer and blah, blah, blah. And that was just like, we need a break.
Yeah. We're working
Among
too hard.
Yeah, among like other life events or just like obligations. It was like, okay, I can't deal with this problem right now. So we just took a extended spring break.
Yeah. But we're back and better than ever, and we really are. And we're so excited. You know, we never wanted to come forth with, just like half-assed episodes and
Whoa,
like
expletive.
conversations. Don't draw attention to it.
Sorry.
Don't be weird. And so we're just really excited to be back. It should be noted we are live from Lakeland, Florida right now in our respective hotel beds for the Miss Florida competition. Not to make everything about us, but we haven't missed a pageant in 15 years.
Right, which sounds insane.
Yeah.
And makes me feel really old. But I competed for the first time in Miss Florida's Outstanding Teen 2009, which was indeed 15 years ago from 2024.
Yeah.
And I competed in teen 3 times, and then I went straight to the Miss pageant. And then I took some time off, I think 3 years off while I was in college. But that's when I had like the most amount of friends competing. So somehow I managed to come to St. Petersburg, where the pageant was held at that time, every year to support them. One year I had an internship there, which was great. I don't even know the other 2 years, like who did I stay with? I think one year I stayed with Allison, my former boss. I don't even know how that was possible, but I was in Miss Florida Land for prelims too, the whole week, every year. Then I returned to the pageant to compete my senior year of college. And then for 3 years after that, so obviously we were here. And then in one of those years, Caitlin competed.
Yeah. So
And dominated.
I hopped in to join the party in 2016/2017.
Yeah.
My junior year of high school. And I competed in the Miss Florida's Outstanding Teen competition with a lot of my good friends, which was really fun, but also kept it exciting. It was a really competitive year. Yeah. it
And
was
you
so
had,
much
I
fun.
think you didn't think you were going to have that much fun.
Yeah.
We had to work on getting Caitlin to do that for 5 years.
Yeah, totally. It was just like a confidence and like self-esteem thing too.
Have those issues been resolved?
No, certainly not. Why do you think I haven't competed since?
Okay. Well, she won her first pageant, and then in her second pageant, she was third runner-up to Miss Florida as Outstanding Teen. So I thought that would be a nice little confidence boost. And actually, we're going to revisit who won that year soon.
Yeah.
But then after that, so I competed one more year, and then I didn't, and I came back in various capacities as a behind-the-scenes volunteer off the books, pretty much. And here we are. I guess, I haven't been in the pageant in 5 years. What?
Wow, that's crazy.
No, my last one was 2018.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
I mean, 1920, but it didn't happen in 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we're happy to be here. Always great to see so many old friends that are not old. We just go way back. My really good friend Miranda, maybe she's listening, is actually celebrating her 15 years as Miss Florida's Outstanding Teen because she won.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, didn't we just celebrate 10 years?
We celebrated, she was, oh my God, she's going to kill us. But yes, she was Miss Florida 2013. So she celebrated 10 years as Miss Florida last year, but then this year will be 15 since she won the
Wow.
teen pageant, which again was my first time here. We didn't know each other then. But we know each other now, so crazy
Certainly
times.
so.
And we have to not spend that much time on this podcast because we have to meet her for brunch after this. So yeah, that's what's going on in Miss Florida Land. We're sending all the good vibes to the girlies. We've walked in your shoes. It can be so fun, but also a little stressful. You know, competition has that way about people. And we just hope everyone has an amazing time and makes some friends and learns some good lessons along the way.
Totally. Excited for finals tonight.
Yay!
Okay, so what have we been up to? I have been up in New York City and just kind of like bouncing all about auditions. I would say podcast, but that's not true.
No.
Working. Actually, I
Pure barring.
yeah, teaching Pure
A lot.
Bar, adminning Pure Bar.
She has the tightest buns anyone's ever seen.
Well, I was gonna say, for teaching Pure Bar pretty much every single day, I'm not as like toned and tight as I could be, but that's maybe because I eat like crunchy cookie M&Ms for breakfast.
I was gonna say, could it be the family pack of M&Ms sitting between us that we are about to finish after opening them 30 seconds ago?
Probably. And like you would think I wouldn't, because last night I was literally bundled up into the tightest little ball, whimpering from my side of the room because I felt so sick and I felt like I was going to like die. And then I woke up this morning and immediately chose crunchy cookies. So, you know, there's that. But new work endeavor for me. Somehow I found myself in a situation where I'm going to the Hamptons this summer.
Yes, queen.
Yes, not like just to go like enjoy the sunshine and rich vibes. I mean, kind of. I am going to nanny for a family with 3 lovely children. And I'm doing it alongside my BFF, Maddie, who actually was the catalyst for this whole adventure. She somehow finds herself in like the craziest situations, and I end up just like coming along for the ride. So I'm really excited about that.
Hanny Caitlin,
Yeah, right.
Hampton's nanny. Hanny.
Yeah, I actually, I
Pause for me to laugh at my own joke.
I've actually dabbled in this medium before. I was, I served as what we called officially a dance au pair.
Yeah.
That was what my title in the payroll. Sorry.
No,
no,
oh
I
my
just
God.
need some
Caitlin
crunchy
just
cookies.
stopped mid-sentence to get more crunchy cookie M&Ms, and we'll probably disrupt the audio.
EMDR. Wait, no.
What?
What is it called? ASMR.
Oh my God. EMDR is a therapy modality. You need to focus.
What is the type of music though? EDM.
Yeah, all of those things are very different.
Okay. EMDR, please. I need some of that. Okay. I was a dance au pair a few summers back, and it was so much fun. So doing a little bit of that, just like Hampton style.
Well, okay, I know what that is, but let's explain for the people what your task says a dance au pair entailed.
Okay. 2 summers ago, right after I graduated college, I was nannying for a close family friend of ours, both providing some support and supervision in the house and also providing some dance training. So it was super fun. I also fell in love with the girlies and realized how much I actually like really enjoy kids. Well, I should say like smart kids.
Smart, competent kids with talents.
Yeah, totally. That's my specialty. And so we're stepping back in. I'm excited to go to the Hamptons and swim in the pool and have some fun in the sun.
Yeah, I mean, low-key, summer in Florida sucks most of the time. So
I'm excited to wear like my like summer sweaters and like
yeah.
Memorial Day whites, or I guess 4th of July whites.
Right.
And
Labor
eat
Day,
lobster
possibly.
rolls.
Ooh,
And
who's making the lobster rolls? Or they probably have like shanty
yes.
shacks.
Yeah.
I've never been to the Hamptons.
Well, I'll have to let you know how it goes.
Yeah, we tossed around doing my bachelorette party in the Hamptons, but we didn't do that because I haven't been there and I felt uncomfortable like bringing a squad somewhere I haven't been, which I know might sound like antithetical because a lot of people want to do their bachelorette party somewhere they haven't been, but I just like wouldn't feel comfortable signing like we're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing this without like knowing if that was a good idea for a group, you know?
Totally.
So excited for your feedback so that hopefully we can plan a future trip.
Yeah, I'll keep the kiddies updated. But how has work been on your end of the world?
Oh, work is work, you know. This is our busy season. A lot of conventions happen between like April and the end of June. So, aforementioned Miranda and I have been crisscrossing the country, making sure we cover all of those. We have a team member out on maternity leave. Shout out to baby Ava, who has entered the chat. We're excited for her to join our girly squad, but also her mom was really a very beneficial part of our team. So we're just covering down while she's out.
Yeah.
And I did take some time off to go to Paris at the end of April for my second 29th birthday, also known as my 30th birthday, I guess.
No, we're going backwards. This is your 28th birthday.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like Benjamin Button, but it like stopped at 30.
Totally.
Yeah, so Matt and I went for a week and we did like 4 nights, 3 nights in Paris, and then we did 2 nights in Tours, France, and saw some more of the countryside, did a little wine tasting adventure. We went to some vineyards, and then we returned to Paris. That's so annoying to say, Paris. But we had a lovely time. If I had to turn 30, I guess like dining at a Michelin star restaurant at the top of the Eiffel Tower will do.
Right.
And I really appreciated that Matt planned that as a surprise.
Fellas, take notes.
Yeah. He's not particularly like a surprising person.
Yeah.
Which is good. I like that he's pretty consistent and otherwise not spontaneous in most cases. But he told me he handled dinner and that I just needed to show up and be beautiful. And that's what I tried to do. I'm not sure if I did.
Maybe
did it.
we'll get Matt's intel.
Yeah, we'll see what Matt had to say. But no, we had a lovely, lovely dinner and it was so special. He also got me some beautiful YSL sunglasses as a Parisian treat. So that was really nice. What else did we do? But yeah, the one thing I will mention about France at the end of April. So my birthday's April 28th, 4/28, which I just feel like is a cute number because like 8 divided by 2 is 4 times 2 is 8. Like that's a good birthday, says me.
Totes.
So, and I'm a Taurus. I don't know what that says about me other than I'm stubborn, which is an accurate assessment. But we were there from like April 26th through May 4th, and it was freezing cold most of the time.
Yeah.
So that wasn't awesome because I brought like 85 pounds of clothes,
Yeah.
like to the point where I had to fight with the Delta agent at Charles de Gaulle on my return home because they were trying to charge me, which is insane because I'm a Diamond member. That's part of my personality. I'm a Delta Diamond. You don't pay bag overages. Anyway.
Miss Delta Diamonds, outstanding mess.
Right. Rude, but okay. And just
In this circumstance.
for the record, I didn't have to pay in the end. They were wrong. But I brought all these clothes, all these accessories, just trying to look fabulous. And then I wore virtually none of them because I just had to wear the jeans and the black wool coat I had brought in every outfit. So
Very European.
it is very European. I looked the part. But if you see any of my pictures from France and you're like, why is she wearing the same 2 outfits, her tan coat on her black coat? It's because it was freezing and we weren't prepared, which is silly because I have literally 1 billion coats.
Yeah.
But they're also in varied colors, and like color's not a bit in France. Like it's neutrals
Except
or
if you're
bust.
on like the south of France.
Yeah. But we weren't. We were in Paris. So
No, but I think that should be your next trip. Maybe you can take me. Why you laugh so hard? That's so rude.
I mean, I don't have the budget for a trip for me at this moment while the wedding planning is going on, and certainly not to bring you along. But I've been to the south of France. That's where Matt and I got engaged in October.
That's right. Well,
But I would definitely return. So anyway, trip was nice. Just like be prepared. It's freaking cold in Paris apparently until like July. And what I learned was that it's on the same latitude as Portland, Maine. Which,
really?
yeah, is, notably cold until like July. So
Yeah.
if I had known that going in, I probably would have packed differently.
Right.
But now I can save you all some trouble.
Yeah. Savage says pack accordingly.
Right.
Okay. So beyond that, we've also been doing a lot of wedding planning. I say we, mostly because I'm just usually on the other end of the phone calls.
Right.
But yeah, tell the community a little bit about that.
Well, first up, I attended 2 weddings, which I hadn't done. Matt and I hadn't been to a wedding since December of 2023, which I guess isn't that long. Like, whatever, that's only 6 months. But back in 2021, we literally went to 9 weddings in 12 weeks. So to only have 2 in 2023 and then now 2 in 2024, it's definitely slowing down, which I think unfortunately reflects we're aging. But I went to weddings for my friend Kristen in St. Louis and John in San Luis Obispo, California. And I know that they are active Savage Fez listeners. So shout out to them. Congratulations on your recent nuptials. We're so happy for you. And we're so grateful to be a part of the celebrations. You certainly do have a new visual or what's the right word? You're more tuned in to certain things when you are getting married yourself at other people's weddings. Not for good or for bad necessarily, just like, you're doing it yourself now. So you're just a little bit more attuned to like how things, what the schedule of events is and the logistical movements of it all and certain details that they choose to include or don't necessarily choose to pursue. So that was an interesting kind of new vision because this is now, I guess, my 3rd wedding. And I feel like I have a good taste for, our plans and getting to experience lots of fun being held by other people too. But those were lovely. And as far as our wedding planning, I'm not even sure I have like any major news to report, which is pretty scary considering we haven't been on here in 3 months. I still don't have a photographer.
Yeah, that's been like the big dilemma.
That's been the big dilemma. It was probably the big dilemma in March when we last were on here too. I've talked to so many and so many are so lovely and helpful and have great portfolios. They all are just a little different. And it's a matter of what is it that you're looking for? And I know what I'm looking for. Of course, the one that I have found or like the few that I'm like, that's what I'm looking for. Start at like $15,000.
Which is crazy.
Which is crazy, but also like, no shade to the photography community. Get your bag.
No, of course.
But like not from me.
Right. Find your bag elsewhere because it's not coming from this side of America.
But also I want their bag. So like it's just been tough figuring out, exactly what I need at my price point, which keeps changing.
Don't tell Matt.
I actually had to tell Matt and he actually understood. He was like, you know what I'm going to say, which is this has to come from somewhere else. But like, I understand how important the photography is and do what you need to do pretty much.
Definitely. If there's one aspect of this wedding that like needs to be a little bit flexible and maybe ebb and flow in the budget area, like it's photography. This is like what they're capturing the entire event.
Yeah.
And
however,
make sure
the trouble is if you take the whole budget and put it in photography, then there's nothing for the photographer to take pictures of.
So true.
And
then the pictures are bad.
And then the pictures are bad because the space looks barren and dull because you couldn't afford a tablecloth, know?
And on the other side of things, which we have discussed, like if you have a lovely wedding and a lovely subject.
Yeah, sure.
Subject and subjects. Like if you're a wedding photographer, this might be a generalization, but like you know what you're doing. And to each their own with preferences of like style and editing styles and stuff like that. But to a certain extent, if you have a handful that you're trying to pick from and you were drawn to their work in some way or another, if your wedding is beautiful, you're going to get beautiful pictures.
Totally. And that's one thing I read. I'm loving Threads. Does that make me like very chuggy?
Oh, I personally am like not in on the Threads. Yeah, Instagram Threads.
I like Instagram Threads, which is just, new age Twitter because I love like reading dialogue.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I was a broadcast journalism major and yet I hate consuming video news. I do not want to watch a video. I want to read an article.
Totally.
And but I don't want to physically read it in a newspaper, but I want to read it online.
Yeah.
I don't want to listen to someone talk it at me. So that's why I think I like Threads because it's all like, written.
It's kind of like Reddit.
Think pieces. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I saw a thread or maybe just like a post on Instagram, who knows, from a photographer that I follow and appreciate their work. And her post was like, we need, like, I almost wish that you could assign like a dollar figure to the weddings for certain galleries and certain photographers.
Yeah. Kind of like restaurants.
Yeah, because people are coming forth saying, this is what I want my photos to look like, but they don't at all have the same budget for that event.
Right.
So the the photos won't look the same because, as you said, none of the subjects look the same. And so that makes a huge difference in what the photography looks like, is what are we photographing?
Of course.
And so people have kind of like skewed expectations of what they're going to get based on how much they're able to spend on that. And similarly, like, it's unfair to compare, like, oh, this is a better photographer. Look at these beautiful pictures of this wedding. Yeah, because the wedding they were photographing was $100,000 wedding versus this photographer is photographing a $50,000 wedding. So you're looking at it, oh, the photos don't look as impressive. No, the wedding wasn't as photogenic.
Sure.
So many interesting points. And one that has now terrorized me further is the saga of the sepia bride. And I'm not sure if anyone else is getting this content, but given that all I've been doing over the last few weeks in particular is like being obsessed with wedding photography, it's everywhere for me. It's on Threads, it's TikTok, it's, I guess, just those places, but like that's where I'm consuming content. And the short version of the story, let's see how I can do, is this bride hired a photographer that she liked and is really unhappy with the way the photos were edited. In some cases, she says they're really good and like points out like, this, I like this. And then in other cases points out like, WTF is with this edit. And one of the things she's mad about is that she got married like not on a beach, but like the beach was visible with like the water, and that the ocean is not blue in any of the photos, it's gray. And that there's some like greenery in certain shots and it's like brown.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like the photographer put some sort of like orange or like sepia filter on all the photos rather than editing more true to color.
Right.
And she's pissed about it.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, that is the like, right, I guess, of the photographer, is just like every photographer does have their own presets and editing styles.
Right. Well, so the tea is here though, that like she went to the photographer and was like, hey, I don't like these edits. And the photographer has told her like, tough luck. This is my editing style.
Right.
So there's kind of a discourse within the photography community, within the bridal community of like, is the photographer in the right to say, no, this is what you get and I'm not re-editing these because this is my style and you chose me for this? Or B, like, the customer's always right, just re-edit them to make her happy. She did offer to pay to have them re-edited.
Okay, that changes things.
Yeah, and the photographer is still like sticking to their guns on like a principle standpoint of like, no, this is my style.
Right.
And I've seen a lot of differing opinions, even from photographers, saying like, you don't have to be right about this.
Right.
Just make the bride happy, especially if she's willing to pay you for the extra work.
Exactly. Like, do you want a referral?
Well, or do you want someone to be unhappy with their wedding photos?
Yeah.
Like, you spent all day with them, they did pay you. Like, I don't know. I see it on both sides, but this is what is like literally keeping me awake at night.
Yeah.
Is I don't want to hire a photographer whose editing doesn't align super perfectly with my vision because I don't want to be in this situation. And I already knew that prior to this whole saga going down. And now I'm like, oh my God, now I absolutely don't want this. And in one case, I actually asked a photographer whose shooting style I love, but from what I can see, editing style I don't exactly love. Like, hey, would you be willing to use more color? Because in my opinion, the colors are a little toned down. And she was like, yeah, of course, whatever you want.
Yeah.
And if, I edit a few previews in one way and you want something different, you just tell me and I'll go in that direction. So I really appreciated her clarity and willingness to
Flexibility.
like meet me where I wanted to be, because I approached it as, I don't want to ask you to do something you're uncomfortable with or something that's like not in line with your artistic vision.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, don't worry about that. But I think other people could be a lot more hung up on that.
Yeah, totally. Well, I think the thing with Sepia Bride, I don't know, but what I'm inferring is that maybe she didn't like recognize this upon hiring this photographer. She was like, okay, those look nice. Wasn't really like clocking because it wasn't her like event, that like, oh, this isn't really drawing a lot of color. It was just like, it is aesthetically pleasing. Great, I choose you. Like, I'm thinking back to like grad photos and stuff. Like, I saw a photographer's work and was like, how beautiful. And then when it kind of came back with my pictures, I'm like, oh, I look really pale and I look really washed out. And I didn't notice that in another person. But when it's you and like your vision, it's a little bit different. So maybe Sepia Bride just like, it's like she didn't notice because she wasn't actively thinking of it. Whereas I think you have this advantage because you are so hyper aware. You are looking at every single like saturation, every single undertone. Like, really, okay, well, does this one have a lot of color or not? Does this one have a lot of like vibrance or not? I don't know. So I think that you're one step ahead in that you will avoid that issue because you are actively looking for it.
Totally. I'll avoid this issue probably because I won't sign a photographer.
Yeah,
And
we
they'll
won't
all-
have wedding photography.
Yeah, they will all be booked. So, prayers for me that I finally make a decision. My wedding planner told me we can't move forward to do anything else until we do this,
Yeah.
which I appreciate, kind of a hard deadline. I did, however, sign for a cake. Yay. So we have a baker who we love. So excited about that. We also did some exciting shopping. We went to New York, or rather met Caitlin in New York, my mom and I we did some perusing for bridesmaids and mother of the bride. I guess, like, do I want to reveal like what our color scheme is? Or,
I don't know. It's up to you. Maybe not yet.
no, maybe not yet. We'll hold it for a little bit, but we had some colors in mind. And we're pursuing that accordingly. We found some good options. And we kind of narrowed down, I think, what we might be doing with the bridesmaids here in Tampa, actually, yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
As a follow-up. And we found some good options for Liz.
Yeah.
What was your
Now that I've
experience
slept
with the
on
shopping?
it, yesterday, I am pretty confident in, I think, the choice that we found yesterday. We have to peruse just other aspects
Styles.
of this. Yes, styles.
But we found a color and a fabric that we like
Yes.
for the maids.
So that's really exciting. I think we found some good options for mom that honestly I didn't expect us to first time around. And I thought Liz was going to be a lot more picky. I think she trusts us fully. She will put her foot down and be like, I'm not wearing that, or I don't want
like
this.
that.
I don't
Yeah.
like that.
She was not into like bows in her face.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I wasn't either for her. So that was good.
Totally. She's not, I don't want to say she's a minimalist, but she's definitely not like wanting all the attention to be on her, which is good. That's
not the
the
point.
point of your wedding. So yeah, like big extra was not really what we were looking for, but making a statement and looking gorgeous and beautiful and
Elegant.
is of utmost importance. And I'm really excited, I think, for the options that we have. And we're also still perusing. And so I think we're going in a good direction.
Yeah, she's doing a lot of online shopping now just to see what is out there on the Ethernet.
Yeah. Which is also not Liz's bag. So
No, it's honestly, I hate it too.
yeah, it's exhausting.
It's a full-time job to like order stuff and return it.
Totally. So, but she is really being a good sport about it. Not in that like she needs to be a good sport. Good
sport.
She
has to figure out, she has to wear something.
I know. But she's actively doing the things she needs to do.
Yeah, thank God. One of the places we went where I think we found at least a front runner for Liz's mother of the bride dress, which we spooked everyone on the internet because the store we were at also sold wedding dresses. And you may recall that I went to 13 bridal salons before deciding on my dress. And I think some people were like, oh my God, is she changing her dress or buying a new one? And the answer was, not yet. But the store we went to for Liz was called Flora on Madison Avenue. And I'd been looking to go there, and then like we never pulled the trigger. And then literally while we were in New York, there was like a Daily Mail article and like People magazine that was like just wrecking the internet. It was on Jenna and Hoda as well. That was like, mother of the bride steals the spotlight from her daughter at her New Orleans wedding, and the dress was from Flora on Madison. So this article came out and I was like, okay, we're here, we gotta go.
Yeah.
So we went to Flora on Madison. We got like one of their last appointments, and they said that they have been slammed so busy. The phone's been ringing off the hook because of all this publicity that they got over this mother of the bride dress. And we did see it there. It was pretty, but not exactly our motif. So
Totally.
it was a great experience there though.
Yeah.
I thought we had fun, and Liz enjoyed herself, and we saw some beautiful things.
Yeah. And because it was kind of like a last minute addition to the agenda, we were like, well, let's just go. We're probably not going to mind anything, blah, 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 blah. And that wasn't the case. So
No.
Always go if you have the opportunity to do something that you thought maybe not was in the plans.
Yeah, just go. You
Just
never
go.
know.
Yes.
We also had great margaritas and great queso in the city, which is hard to find. You're the local subject matter expert on that, but I would say Savage says 4 stars for Javelina.
Totally. I actually went So Javelina, there's two locations. One in Union Square, which is like 14th Street, Chelsea, and one on the Upper East Side. We went to the location on the Upper East Side, had a fabulous waiter named Wyatt. I actually went back with Maddie 2 days later.
Did you see Wyatt again?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, wow, why do you remember his name?
Well, I was like, hi, Wyatt. And he was like, I was like, you served me and my sister and my mom. You said that we were awesome. And he was like, oh, yeah. Good to see you. He did not remember. And he was like so wigged out.
Wow.
And
stalker.
I was like, yeah. But that just goes to show how much I really enjoyed our experience at Javelina and was excited to go back. I literally dragged Maddie there by her hair. And
you are going to enjoy this white queso.
Totally. Oh, trust me, she did. We went and sat at the bar, got some, not one, but 2 orders of white queso.
Wow.
They have a good like happy hour situation where you can get like a little individual size, and then happy hour ended. And so we had to get the big one because we didn't really want any like brisket or meat. It was just not our journey that day. But holy cow, we thought Cocina marks were strong. And I feel like we experienced this. We went on Tony Sunday. Mm-hmm. So we went and got 2 margs each. And
we were like, Wyatt, it's the Tonys. And he's like, oh, are you in it? Are you going? We were like, no, we're going home to watch it on TV.
Obviously. But we like stumbled out of Javelina and like into the wine store to go get more wine. And then like Liz threw up. Like it was a whole thing.
You're right. We did get kind of wrecked by the Javelina marks.
Yeah.
So for $14, go get yourself one.
Slam dunk.
Someone who did remember us though, Sam, the sommelier at Quality Bistro.
Yes. And I thought he was just bluffing too.
Oh my God, it's not Sam, it's Matt. Matthew. And that's why we had such a lovely experience because as you all know here, we love Quality Bistro on 55th and 6th.
QB.
In New York City. It's a French bistro and it's perfect for a pre or post theater meal. They are not sponsoring this. But we go there pretty much every time, and we went there naturally during this visit. And the sommelier had chatted us up last time we were there, and I was asking him for recommendations in Paris and in France because I assumed he had some knowledge, having been a sommelier. And he was super friendly and helpful. And so he came back over this time, and I said, "Hi, Matthew, right?" And I think he was shocked that I remembered his name. And we chatted some more, and then he came over and he said, well, then I must get you started with some champagne. Mm-hmm. Poured us like a full glass of champagne each.
Yeah, full wine glass.
Full wine glass. And then also sent over some corn creme brulee during our meal. Mm-hmm. So if Quality Bistro is trying to get rid of us, they're doing a very bad job.
Yeah. We'll be back.
We'll be back.
Time and time
and
again.
Only have great things to say.
And you know who else loves Quality Bistro?
Ben Platt, who we had the privilege to see while we were there.
Yes, we were going to Ben Platt after Quality Bistro, were we not?
Yeah.
Yeah, as we said, one of our pre-theater stops, and we were able to see Ben live at the Palace. He had a little residency there before he kicked off his tour. I almost said world tour. I don't think it's that serious, but
North America, perhaps.
And we saw his closing night at the Palace, and it was so special. I love Ben Platt. We love his music, and like particularly his work in the theater. But it's just always so fun. Like when you see somebody live, it like I feel like sparks even more of an appreciation for that artist.
Totally, assuming they're a good performer and
totally
gracious.
Yeah, and if they're not, then maybe the opposite happens. But
right,
he was so amazing. My personal favorite number of his was when he went backstage and procured a feather duster robe, and put it on and sang Maybe This Time from Cabaret, one of my personal favorite songs, and it was just really quite the moment.
Yes, it was beautiful. Such versatility he has. For those who don't know him by name, he won the Tony for Dear Evan Hansen, playing Evan Hansen in 2017, I think, and then recently played Leo Frank in a revival of Parade. Also known for his work in Pitch Perfect as Benji, and Book of Mormon, and The Politician on Netflix, many things.
Yeah. A lot of people I don't want to say a lot of people, but there's a corner of the universe who like toots all over Ben Platt because he is like a nepo baby.
Yeah.
But he's talented in his own right, and I personally believe he would have made strides without this connection. Maybe it made it a little bit more easy and accessible for him, but
Sure.
he's very talented and I think deserves all of the success that he's had.
Absolutely. And I saw something that was like, I'm so glad Ben Platt was a nepo baby, so we get to hear his voice.
Absolutely.
Because if that voice was trapped somewhere else, it would be a sad day. But part of his residency that he really kept things exciting with, probably through his nepo baby connections,
Yeah.
was that he brought out like a special guest during every show. And for us, being that it was his final show, he actually brought out 2 guests. The first of which was Jennifer Hudson. They performed a duet to Somewhere by from West Side Story, which was beautiful.
Gorge.
And then the second, we literally thought Elton John was about to walk on stage.
The way he was describing.
Yeah, because he literally like teed this person up as like the gay icon of our lifetime and just like the performer of many decades. And we were like, it's Elton John.
Totally.
Elton John is about to come on stage and duet with Ben Platt. Like, what's happening? No, it wasn't Elton John. It was Sam Smith. Who
Personally, weren't.
but yeah, personally, I wasn't like dying to see. He was a great singer. I mean,
Yeah.
they have a wonderful voice and performed a very long, drawn out version of Lay Me Down. But it was lovely. I was definitely expecting Elton John, and then TBH a little bit let down by Sam's not by his performance, just like by the fact that it was him. As
Wasn't Elton John.
yeah, the fact that it wasn't Elton John. But we had a lovely time. The Palace Theater was newly renovated. Gorge.
Oh my gosh, so beautiful.
And I don't think Liz could have like named a single song Ben Platt sang, and I think wasn't like so excited to go to this show with us. But she left loving it and having had the best time.
She kept whispering in my ear, I'm having so much fun. I love this. I love this song. So
Perfect.
yeah, that made me really excited.
And like, do we ever lead her astray?
No.
No. So
She doesn't. She trusts her children, but sometimes
she can be a little whiny.
yeah, and it's like, girl,
Just ride with it. You're gonna love it.
totally.
You're gonna love it.
You're gonna love it. So we also saw during this trip, Back to the Future, which this was my 4th time seeing this show.
A Back to the Future stan.
Yeah, totally. Not necessarily on stage. I've had the opportunity to see it in other like capacities. And shout out to my bestie girl Kiara, who is on the first national tour as Jennifer, the girlfriend. So I have a personal, just kind of like connection, and was excited to go see it again. But Kelly also has a personal connection.
I sure do. My friend and original pageant choreographer,
Yeah.
Katie LaDuca, is Linda McFly in this Broadway production of Back to the Future. And she was a replacement last year. And I found that I commented on her Instagram in December 2023 and said, I am so excited. I'm coming to see you. And
that
here we
we
are
did.
in June. We made it happen. So I was so excited to see her dance. We actually used to be on our high school dance team together. One of us was good. The other one was just fine. The one who's on Broadway was the one who is good. But yeah, she choreographed my very first pageant routine that I performed at Miss River Cities at SUNY Teen in 2009, 15 years ago, to It's Oh So Quiet. And she always had like a real knack for choreography and teaching. And she was our like co-captain for our team. And she had I think passion for performing, but she also really had a passion for choreography, even at a young age. And it's just really, really, really cool to see someone you grew up dancing with and like is so talented realize their dreams.
Totally.
And I think what's really cool about her is like she's a year older than me, so she's 31, maybe creeping on 32, and this is her first Broadway credit. And I think maybe some people have an idea, especially for dancers, that like by a certain age you're no longer going to like achieve your dream.
Yeah.
and I think she had kind of turned to teaching more than auditioning. But no, it all happened at exactly the right time, it seems. I don't know her life anymore, but I'm just so happy for her because I know she's worked really hard, and to see that on stage and see someone's dreams like literally realized in front of you is like so cool. And I felt so elated for her getting to
Yeah.
watch her on stage.
It was really cool.
Well, and mom knew her because she would come to our house
Yeah.
and we'd have sleepovers and whatever. And like, I was so glad that mom recognized her
Yeah.
and she was like, oh my God, she looks exactly the same. Like I
Yeah.
knew her. I could see her immediately.
Yeah.
And so we all had a great time cheering on someone we knew. And then we saw Ben Platt and then we saw Suffs, an original musical.
Suffs the musical.
Suffs stands for suffragettes. And you might think to yourself, suffragettes? Why would you make or see a musical about the women's suffrage movement? And it's because girls can do anything.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't you see a musical?
Why wouldn't you? Do you not believe in women's right to vote? Do you not support women?
Yeah, that's a you problem.
That's a you problem. And honestly, probably not anything anyone listening to this podcast is thinking.
No. If you did not support women and women in business and women in the arts and women in
voting.
healthcare and women in XYZ, this is not the podcast
No,
for you.
our almost entire listener base is women. So, this is, we're not yelling at you, but the point is yes, this musical is about the women's suffrage movement in the, I guess, 18th century, if it's the 1900s. I don't know. I think women got the right to vote in like 1920.
Yeah.
Or am I thinking of the 20th Amendment?
Oh God, we clearly didn't take away many facts from this
Shoot,
musical.
I know. But we did learn all about Alice Paul, who really is the trailblazer behind the women's suffrage movement. Although Carrie Chapman Catt, who is the first gen of that, is probably rolling in her grave at
Absolutely.
me saying this on the Savage Chess podcast.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was pretty cool because we saw it on Sunday afternoon and then the Tonys were Sunday evening and the show won Best Book, which is essentially like the script, and Best songs, Best like compositions. And it's a new playwright or composer.
Yeah, Shayna Taub.
Who plays the main character, but we didn't get to see her because she doesn't perform on Sundays, which is like a queen move.
Yeah. She's the boss. She can do whatever she wants.
Yeah, but it was really cool. And I truly did not know much about the women's suffrage movement.
Yeah.
I just knew we had to fight to get the right to vote at some point, and they worked really hard and it happened. But I learned a lot. Very historical, very like Hamilton for women.
Totally. Well, and fun thing about it was that the entire cast is comprised of women. All women cast, but there are like male roles in the show. So like President Woodrow Wilson, played by Grace something, so good. His secretary, I think, also chief of staff, played by a woman. So that was a fun kind of aspect of the show.
Yeah, it's kind of how like, white men in Hamilton are played by people of color.
Right.
They're taking kind of historical male figures and having them played by women. So a little riff on that. And yes, that was really cool to see. Just really well done, very creative, obviously all new material, which is unique on Broadway these days. A lot of things are adaptations like Back to the Future, which is still a great show, but just totally original. And that can be hard to sell tickets for because people don't know what to expect. So I'm glad we went. I left feeling completely inspired to like change the world.
Totally.
And I haven't done that yet since we saw it, but I'm working on it.
Still feeling inspired.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I personally, and I think we both agreed on this, I enjoyed it way more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, okay, yeah, let's go see this. And I feel like
It was Liz's idea.
yeah, we are theater lovers and appreciators. So like anything we see, we're going to be glad that we saw it. But yes, definitely left with a fire lit under our booties and just like so inspired to be a woman. Also, it was funny though because we walked in and like the audience was so old
And almost all women.
Yeah.
It was like if you were looking for a room full of 60-year-old white women, you found it at Suffs.
Yeah, for sure.
But that doesn't take away anything. Theater is for old people too. It's actually specifically for old
Mostly
people.
for
I
old
think.
people.
Yeah.
But actually like 2 days later, I think the original Broadway cast recording dropped on Spotify or all listening platforms, and I like went to go search it whenever like the Monday after we saw it or whatever, and I found it and I didn't realize it was like literally the release day. So
Oh wow.
I've been listening here and there to it. It's really Bops.
How do we do it when it's never been done?
How do we find a way where there isn't one?
Yeah,
And
go
then,
listen.
My favorite, sometimes I'll just like spit it out.
Oh, not right now.
Yeah, wait.
Ladies.
Tariff reform.
Yeah.
Congress.
Yeah, I will say this musical was not a good review for Woodrow Wilson. It makes him seem like a real big jerk.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that's not something I caught from history, like the textbooks.
Right.
So obviously everyone has their own opinion, form it as you will, but apparently he was not particularly friendly or progressively advancing the women's suffrage movement during his 8 years as president.
No, he was making a lot of excuses.
Yeah, a lot of excuses, one of them being tariff reform.
Totally.
Lastly ish, one other crazy thing that happened this week, specifically while I've been in Florida on my way up here to Miss Florida. I don't really follow sports that closely. Obviously, I'm not like living under a rock. So I was aware that the Stanley Cup, which is like the Super Bowl for hockey, was occurring mostly because one of my really good friends is an in-game reporter for the Florida Panthers. And what I could sense was that they were doing very well. Mm-hmm. Well, lo and behold, Game 7, which was the final game of the Stanley Cup, was happening in Fort Lauderdale on Monday night. And I also happened to be in Fort Lauderdale on Monday night for work. And then the Florida Panthers, based in Fort Lauderdale, won the Stanley Cup. So, like, the whole shebang. Mm-hmm. And yay, go Panthers. So I'm just like working, doing my thing, and I had plans to meet my friend Katie for dinner on Tuesday, and we go to dinner, we're having a lovely time, and then she is like, hey, do you want to go to a party after this? Casey's there, and Casey's her sister. Well, Casey is engaged to one of the Florida Panthers, but like Katie was very low-key about all of this, and we were like, yeah, let's go, let's meet Casey. I knew her from back in the day, would love to see her, whatever. Well, we go, and what we walked into was the Florida Panthers Stanley Cup celebration party. And I don't know anything about hockey or these people, so I was actually the perfect guest for this party because, like, I don't know who they are, right?
You weren't trying to, like, hobnob with the
not at all. Like,
players.
Yeah, right, because you don't want to bring, like, people.
A crazy fan.
No, it's literally like the family VIP party. You don't want to bring a crazy fan. Well, I was the opposite. But the Stanley Cup was just like literally being passed around the entire time.
Right.
Which I guess is like a pretty big deal in sports. And they had like a roped off area where like there were like rabid fans trying to like get into the space. And they had like armed guards and everything. It was crazy. So yeah, I got my picture with the Stanley Cup. LOL.
It's funny because this is listed on our itinerary, breaking the fourth wall. And it says Kelly hangs out with the Stanley Cup. I looked at this for a few seconds and was like a Stanley Cup? Like a big dumb cup?
The big dumb cup, right, which would be the more reasonable Stanley Cup for me to be hanging out with.
I thought you like had a statement or like a new opinion on Stanley Cups because widely known on this podcast, you are not
don't
a fan
mess with
of the
them.
Stanley
No, I want
Cup.
my disposable Evian bottle. Get your big dumb cup out of my face. Yeah. Well, I had a date with the big dumb cup, except this one was much, much bigger and metal. So to any hockey fans listening, I'm sorry it wasn't you. The world is not fair.
Totally. We are such just like name droppers and like schmoozers. We're like, yeah, I have a friend in Back to the Future the Musical. I actually have two friends in Back to the Future the Musical, and my friend was the Endgame reporter on at the Stanley Cup.
It was just a storytelling device for how we wound up at this party.
It
actually
relevant.
wasn't. That wasn't even how we wound up at the party. It had nothing to do with her being a reporter, and it had everything to do with her brother-in-law being the forward for the team.
No, it's amazing and it's funny and it's relevant. Yeah. It's just like so funny because like, are we just like big losers who like ride the coattails of our friends?
No, we wound up there by accident and no, we're supportive.
Well,
we're supportive.
This is a segue of like, know DCC Reese, okay? There, we said it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see where this is going. Yeah. So the DCC, Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders documentary dropped on Netflix on, I think, June 20th?
Yeah, something like that.
And we know, as Caitlin said, DCC Reese from childhood in Jacksonville and pageants. Shout out to Miss Florida Week.
Yeah.
Very, very, very well for literally the last 15 years.
Yeah.
I mean, we met her family immediately upon pageant stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think we were at all prepared that she was like literally the star of this documentary.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Reese is amazing and spectacular, and I love her. One of our dearest friends, but like reality star Reese wasn't really on my bingo card for 2024.
No.
Not for any reason other than just it's like something that you don't think about is going to happen to somebody that you know so well and one of your close friends. And so,
well, and you guys went to high school and college together, right?
Yeah, and we did Miss Florida's Outstanding Teen in 2017.
Yes. So Caitlin was the third runner-up to Reese.
Yes.
And I guess if you had to lose,
Oh, absolutely.
she was a good person to lose to.
So I mean this like in the most endearing way. Like I was always kind of like in Reese's shadows.
Yeah, you guys kind of look alike.
Yeah.
You dance similarly, which is well.
She's lovely, and just like if it's going to be anyone, I'm so glad it's Reese. And it was truly an honor
How
to
sweet.
go to high school and see all of her successes, and then later go to the same school in college and watch her thrive on dance team and just like watch her dreams come true in front of her eyes.
Yeah.
She's deserving of all of it.
Yay. And she really is as sweet as she seems on the
Yes.
documentary. Like, I can see why maybe some people think that she can't possibly be that positive and
Yeah.
sweet all the time. I'm here to report
She really is.
she really is.
And means
I'm
it
not
from the bottom of her heart.
I'm not sure how either, but she really is. And what was fun for me was I also watched the Making the Team DCC show. Did you watch it?
Not all the way through, but I had seen many, many episodes
Sure.
of many, many seasons.
So for those who don't know, like that was a reality show on CMT of all networks,
Yeah, so
country
weird.
music television. I guess that checks out. That was more of a competition style show following the tryout process and less like about them as DCCs or like behind the scenes into their life. A little bit here and there, but more so competition version of the tryout process. And so you got to know the girls, but honestly, you got to know the ones who got cut more than you did the girls on the team. But some of them got cut and then came back and made the team. So there were some people in the documentary that I actually felt like I kind of already knew or knew about because of their time on the other show.
Yeah.
One of those being Victoria, who was kind of one of the alternate stars of the documentary. And it was cool to learn more about her. I think the internet is, exploding about Victoria's mental health struggles and being very open about her eating disorder. And it is really refreshing to hear someone just be so straightforward, especially in this like dance community and NFL, these positions that have a lot of notoriety and public facing appeal, just to say like, it's not easy. This doesn't come naturally to me. I have to work really, really hard and deal with a lot of struggles to maintain this appearance and that it, can weigh on her. And ultimately, I don't want to reveal too much, but she makes a decision in the end that you don't necessarily see coming. So it was refreshing, I think, in that way. And I appreciated the approach similar to Cheer that kind of shows like not just the happy all the time, but like what real life looks like for some of these people who do have struggles and are open to talking about them.
Yeah.
Because I think it
absolutely.
humanizes the whole thing.
Definitely. It was really well done. And
Yeah, it's that and Sepia Bride, my entire newsfeed,
life. for
pretty
the
much.
past
Yeah.
weeks. But yeah, when I looked last night, not because I'm a stalker, but just because I'm fascinated, Reese. Oh, wait. Okay. Hi, Reese. Reese, her Instagram said last night Reese Allman, which is her married name. It's now been changed back to Reese Weaver.
Really?
Interesting.
I hope everything's okay.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Oh my God. Okay.
But yeah, she had 151,000 followers last night, and she's now up to 160,000.
Wow. Well, and
night.
last week, the day the documentary dropped, I did check. She was at 11,000.
Yeah, so
So wow.
growth is crazy.
Yeah,
and
and I do believe she follows our podcast Instagram. I don't know if she's a listener, but
Yeah, hi,
Reese, if you're
Reese.
listening, we love you. We're so happy for you. I just
Yes.
opened Instagram. She's the first thing on there.
of course, she's everywhere. I mean, all
yeah.
over my TikTok, every other thing is like a Reese compilation of like her DCC clips and like edits of Reese. I'm like, this
Right.
is crazy.
Right. And to make it about me, I was Miss Northeast Florida's Outstanding Teen.
Yeah.
And Reese was Little Miss Northeast Florida.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah.
like the first iteration of Reese I remember.
Yeah, exactly.
Little Miss
Couldn't
Northeast
miss her.
Florida.
She was precocious as all get out. Actually, I think she's like more of a chill adult than she was a chill child.
Totally. Well, it was kind of funny because there was a moment that probably not many people caught, but I did. That was like one of the judges of some phase of the audition process that was like, I like her, she's spunky. And like that
She is spunky.
I remember that being like a descriptor of Reese, little Reese, and like something that I will gab about to people who know her later in life but didn't when I did. And I was like,
Right.
no, Reese was always spunky and just like a firecracker of a little gal. And she's kind of like grown up so beautifully and gracefully. And so to hear her be described as spunky again was just like very full circle.
Brought all the memories back. Yeah, I
Yeah.
also caught that one of the judges, or Kelly, the coach, I think, in her initial audition said, "Oh, she must do ballroom." And I was like, actually, no. I don't think she does or did, because we danced at the same dance studio, and that was not on the list of options for you to take.
But she's just that good.
She's just that good. Exactly. Well, with that in mind, we hope you're just that good. We miss all of our kitty cats. Hopefully we will continue to maintain our technical success here and be on more frequently. I'm not going to commit to every week at this point.
No
We'll
promises.
see. We'll see when we see ya. But thanks for joining us. We love you so much.
Yeah, enjoy summer.
Yeah, enjoy summer.
And we'll talk with you soon.
Bye.
Bye.